Hi everyone, and welcome to Wondering Soul Yoga with Sarah. Today we have a longer practice today with lots of really juicy heart openers. So grab 2 blocks and a blanket. When you're ready, join me on the mat. When you have your props and you're seated comfortably in crisscross applesauce, I'd like you to sit up on your blanket. So fold it over from the standard fold one time. You're sitting up. That really just helps the pelvis have more of an anterior tilt and align the spine better rather than feeling like you're having to struggle to sit up tall. It just facilitates the hips being slightly higher. Sit up on your mat. Have your blocks just off to the side. We won't need them quite yet. But allow your eyes to close. And begin by feeling the weight of the body in the mat. Maybe that's your sits bones, maybe that's your feet. Noticing the palms of the hands as they press onto the thighs. Bringing attention to your breath. No need to change anything about the breath here. Just notice your inhales and exhales. Are they living more in the chest, in the belly? Taking this brief moment in stillness before we begin movement. Draw hands heart center. Feeling the press of the palms against each other and then the palms against the breastbone. And touch in here. The theme of practice today, beyond the physical practice of the heart openers, is to sit with the question, what do I need right now in this moment? That question, maybe you have an answer immediately, right this moment. If not, we'll revisit throughout class today, and you can see if the answer changes, evolves, or if something becomes apparent later that isn't now. So what do I need right now in this moment? When you're ready, maybe gently opening the eyes if they were closed. Bringing hands either side, tenting up on the fingertips. Lengthen through the crown of the head here. Inhale. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Well, towards right shoulder. Breathing here, lengthening out through the left side of your neck. Inhaling back through center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. This time, sending breath into the right side of the neck. Inhale back through center. And exhale, this time chin to chest. Lengthen through the back of your neck this time. Notice the stretch of the spine, the upper back, drawing shoulder blades down and together onto the back, and just notice how that changes the stretch. Inhaling, head back through center. Take left elbow up to the ceiling, right hand grasps left elbow, just lift, stretching through the tricep. Take left arm across the body this time. Right hand just grasps left forearm. We'll do the other side. Right elbow reaches to the ceiling. Left hand reaches, grasps right elbow, and stretching into the tricep of your right arm. Right arm across the body. Left hand reaches for right forearm, stretching the right arm. Releasing your right arm. And if you're sitting up on a blanket, coming off the blanket for now and setting it aside. We'll need it later in practice, so keep it close by. Coming onto hands and knees, tabletop pose. Take the next few breaths to move through cat-cow. So inhaling, belly drops, gaze lifts, cow. Exhaling, cat, round the spine, gaze back in between the thighs. Inhaling, cat. And exhale, cow. Actually, I reversed that. So inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Moving through just a couple more with your own inhale. And own exhale. Tapping into the breath. So central to the practice of yoga. This movement, this practice really isn't yoga without that connection to the breath. So that's the foundation of our practice we work on every time we come out of the mat. Tucking your back toes, draw your belly button into spine. We're working into the core here, starting to warm up the belly. Belly button into spine, lift the knees off your mat, maybe 2 inches, hovering them there. Belly button into spine, breathing here. One more inhale. And exhale, knees wide, toes touch, child's pose. Sink the hips back towards your heels. Maybe forehead comes to mat or to blocks or blanket. I personally like knees wide, just gives my belly space to breathe freely here. But you can also bring knees in, arms long back alongside the legs. For another version of Balasana, child's pose. Your next inhale brings you back up to hands and knees, tabletop. Inhale, left arm swings out and up, gaze up, exhale, thread the needle. Left arm comes under right, maybe lower down onto your right shoulder. You can tent up on the right fingertips or maybe walk the fingertips of your right hand out long. Thread the needle. Noticing where that right shoulder blade is in space, maybe you can draw it back and down along the back. If your hand's extended, bringing it back in towards the face, pressing up, inhale. Left arm sweeps out and up. Inhale, exhale. Left hand plants. Inhale, right arm sweeps up. Exhale, right hand threads underneath left arm, maybe coming down onto right shoulder. Start by tenting up onto your left hand, maybe walking the left hand long, but noticing if you can draw the left shoulder blade any amount onto the back. Breathing here. If your left hand's extended long, bring it back beside your face, pressing into left hand. Right arm reaches up, inhale. Maybe your knee pops, exhale, hand down to the mat. Tuck your toes, Lift your hips up, downward facing dog. We won't stay here long. We're making our way to the top of your mat, but maybe you take a moment to bend one knee and bend the other, walking up your dog. Baby steps all the way up to the top of the mat. Knees are bent generously here. Maybe you take opposite elbows in opposite hands, swing side to side. If you took the elbows in the hands, gently release the hands towards the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, folding back in. Do that half lift once more. Inhaling, hands to shins. Spine is long, gaze is down. Exhale, folding back in. From your forward fold, ground it into your feet. And gently, with your next inhale, rolling all the way up to standing. Shoulders glue on the back. Then neck, then head, just stack nicely in alignment. Maybe take a moment in mountain pose to close the eyes. Returning to the question from the beginning of practice. So, what do you need right now in this moment? Really accepting the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe it's one word. Maybe it's solace. Maybe it's quiet. We're not looking for a 5-paragraph essay, just more listening to what our body really needs and is asking us. Just taking that time to be quiet and listen. If your eyes were closed, gently open them. Inhaling, arms sweep up, gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale to stand, arms sweep up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands heart center. One more half sun salute A. Inhale, arms sweep up, gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips, knees bent. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, but option to take hands to the low back, clasping the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe the hands come off the low back any amount. Noticing the change in the shoulders, that stretch you might be experiencing in the shoulder girdle here. If you clasp the hands, gently release them to the low back. And release the clasp of the hands all together. Inhale to stand, arms sweep, gaze lifts. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, arms sweep out and up, gaze lifts. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins, neck is long. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping back into plank pose. Always an option here in plank to lower the knees, lift the heels into the glutes. Inhale here in plank. Exhale, lower the knees if they aren't already, and lower slowly with control all the way down to the mat. Arms extend long, palms face up to the ceiling. Draw belly button into spine. We'll move into locust pose. Draw shoulder blades onto the back. Gaze is just gently down to the top of your mat. Keep your engagement in the core And with your next inhale, lift the legs, lift your arms, shoulders, and head. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Lowering back to the mat, pressing up through tabletop. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Taking 2 more breaths in down dog. At the bottom of your exhale, gaze forward. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, arms reach, gaze lifts. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, arms sweep out and up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, hands plant, step back, plank pose. Again, option to lower the knees. Inhale in plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, hips up through table and back through down dog. From down dog, press your left foot into the mat. Inhale, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Exhale, stepping the right foot in between the hands, as many steps as it takes. Lower your back knee and tuck your toes, and have your blocks handy. Options for low lunge: hands to blocks at either their lowest height, like so, or medium height, or highest height, yogi's choice. Maybe you wiggle the back knee slightly further back if you'd like an extra stretch in the front of your left hip. Option to remain here. Also an option, hands come to right thigh, heart center, or arms reach high to the ceiling. One more inhale wherever you are, and exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting to the right. Maybe that's opening up the arms to T, or taking left elbow to the outside of right thigh, palms press. Option to stay here or tuck the back toes, lift your knee. Twisted low lunge. One more inhale. Exhale to knees lifted, lower your back knee. Coming back through center. Hands frame the front foot. Walk your right foot out towards the right of the mat. We're moving into lizard pose. So I'm going to keep my blocks here to the lowest height. Forearms to blocks. Hands clasped. You can tuck the back toes and lift your knee if you want. All sorts of great options. Maybe your right knee hugs in towards right shoulder, or maybe you come onto the outside edge of your right foot, that right knee just opens to the right. It's a different stretch, it might feel differently in the body. If it feels good, stick with it. If it feels better to have the right knee in, also a great option. Coming up through center, you can keep the blocks where they are. Left hand presses on the block. Bring the left heel into the glute, moving into a really juicy quad stretch here. So, left hand on block, right arm rainbows up and back, reaching for that back foot or ankle. Left hand can also be on the mat if that would feel good. If you have the foot in the hand, maybe you draw the heel any amount in towards the glute. Right shoulder points up towards the ceiling. If you have the foot, gently release it, coming back, moving your blocks out of your way for now. We will use them later. Hands plant on the mat, stepping back into plank pose, knowing you can move through a vinyasa. That's the lowering down. But if you'd like, stay in plank, pressing into the hands, and then feeling the shoulder blades push up with that kind of action of pushing into the floor. Resonates up through the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades on the back. One more inhale. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Walk it out. Take knees wide, toes touch. Child's pose. Just take a break, taking the weight out of our wrists. Returning here to ask yourself, what do I need right now? Maybe the answer is the same as earlier, maybe it's changed. Or maybe you'll want to just sit with this question and come back to it off the mat. So the greatest thing about the yoga practice is it doesn't have to stay right here only when we're practicing physical asana. It can come with us. Making your way back to downward facing dog. Left side this time. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee. Bring back the blocks. Hands can come to either side of the foot, staying on blocks here in this version of Anjaneyasana low lunge. Other options include, again, hands to thigh, hands to heart center, or arms reach up to the ceiling. Maybe you wiggle the fingers, really reaching. If it would feel good, maybe wiggle that back knee slightly further back or keep it where it is. You know, you can always bring a blanket underneath the back knee if you have sensitive knees. Inhaling, hands heart center. Exhale, twist to the left, either opening up arms to T or hands heart center. Right elbow can hook on left thigh. Maybe you tuck your back toes and lift your knee. Feeling the shake in the legs, feeling the power of this pose. One more inhale. Exhale, lower the back knee if you lifted it. Coming hands frame on either side of the foot, and then walk the left foot out to the left side of your mat. I'm bringing my blocks down to their lowest height. Forearms down to blocks, lizard pose. Again, an option to tuck your back toes, lift your knee. In lizard, yogi's choice. Gazing in between your forearms. If you'd like, roll onto the edge of your left foot. Left knee opens any amount to the side. Really just is a different stretch and gets into another set of muscles and ligaments. So it's really never that one version is better than the other. They're all just options that you can try. Making your way back up onto the palms of your hands. Quad stretch. Heel to glutes. Right hand plants on block or mat. Left arm rainbows up and back. Reach for the foot. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you strap this back foot if you have a strap to bring the foot closer into the hand. If you have the foot, draw the heel any amount in. Eventually left elbow reaches towards the ceiling. Breathing here. If you have the back foot, release it to the mat, moving your blocks out of your way. Hands from the front foot, step back, plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower knees. And slowly all the way to the mat, untuck your toes. Arms long, we'll revisit Shalabhasana, locust pose. Belly button draws into spine. Shoulder blades draw up, back, and down along the back. Inhale, lifting legs, shoulders. Maybe you clasp the hands behind the back. One more inhale. And exhale, lower everything to the mat. Take the head to either side and just windshield wiper the feet. So knees bent, releasing in the low back here. Extending your legs out long, press up into tabletop. Tuck your toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Left foot plants on the mat, inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, elbow to knee, firing up the core. Inhale, extend and lengthen. Exhale, elbow, knee to left elbow. Inhale, lengthen, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, setting everything down. Breathing here. Maybe you take a moment off the wrists, just coming onto your knees. From down dog, inhale, three-legged dog. Left leg lifts this time. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, reach. And exhale, setting everything down. Knees lower to the mat. Sitting back on your heels. Breathing here. Maybe roll the wrists. Noticing your breath. Noticing your heart. Your heartbeat, your heart rate. What do you need right now? When you're ready. If you have sensitive knees, I'd recommend taking a blanket. Really, this is standard fold, folding it one more time over. If it has fringe, like this one, fringe is away from you. We're moving through a few versions of camel pose, Ustrasana. Really big heart opener. We've been working into the shoulders and the chest, preparing for this posture. But note too that bow pose and also bridge pose can be really great similar versions of this posture. So if we try this and you don't like it, particularly bridge pose will be a really great place for you. If you'd like, come to standing on the knees. Knees can be on the blanket. If you find that this kind of double fold is a little too much, coming back into the singular fold or kind of getting rid of the blanket altogether. Maybe you fold your mat over so you have this cushion from the mat. Lots of options. We'll have our blocks ready for us. For this first version, you won't need them, but have them next to your heels for when we do the next version. You're standing on the knees, toes are tucked. So we're just feeling into the alignment here of the posture. Hands come to low back, elbows draw, not together necessarily, but they allow the shoulder blades to draw together on the back. Elbows are really parallel to each other. Inhale here. Exhale, lifting to the chest, and then leaning gently back. Hips keep reaching forward, hip points reaching forward, feeling into the back bend. So we're keep your hands on the low back here. This first version of Ustrasana Camel. With your next inhale, coming back up through center, sit back on your heels. Great. Knowing that that could be your version of camel today, we'll do it twice more, so you'll have 2 more opportunities to deepen into it, feel into it. Join me back standing on the knees. This time, blocks handy at their highest height. So, just next to the heels, like so. Starting in the same way. Hands to low back. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhaling. Keeping the hip points reaching forward. Leaning back any amount. Maybe right hand comes back and left for the blocks. Maybe you have to look and just see where they are in space. It can be a little disorienting to start. Maybe gaze is just gently down the nose. Or you can bring the head back behind you. Drawing core in to protect the low back here. Your next inhale brings you up through standing on the knees. Exhale, sit back on the heels. One more version of Camel Ustrasana. This could be a great opportunity if you are done at this point. Go on your back, try a bridge pose. Maybe you just quietly lay there until we're ready to meet you. Regardless, this time I'll offer a version without blocks. So blocks off to the side, standing on the knees, tuck your back toes, hands to low back. Inhale, lift, lengthen through the crown of the head, through the chest. Exhale, reaching back, and then eventually right hand, left hand, reach for the heels or for the ankles. Feel that great opening through the heart. Ask yourself, what do you need in this moment? Maybe head comes all the way back, like opening through the throat. Your next inhale brings you up. And exhale. Sitting back on your heels, move your blanket out of the way. Knees wide, toes touch, child's pose. Breathing into your low back with each inhale and exhale. From child's pose, make your way to seated and then roll. Well, actually, if you were on your back, join me in seated. If you were in child's pose, join me in seated. Feet plant on the mat. One last core exercise to engage in the core. Great counter posture to any back bend postures like camel. Boat pose. First option, feet planted on the mat, arms extended, core engaged, belly button into spine. Stay here. Other option is to play with lifting one foot, and then the other. Shins come to parallel with the floor. If you'd like, lifting both shins, hands can come behind your knees to support the legs here. Noticing you still feel the sits bones in this posture and you aren't too rounded in the spine. If you'd like, extend the arms long alongside the legs. Feel the shake here, knowing that you're building strength here, building into this practice. If you fall out of it, come back in. One more inhale. Exhale, lower the feet if they are lifted. Roll back onto your back. Knees into chest. Rocking side to side. Maybe you're rocking forwards and backwards. Happy baby, knees wide. Fingers reach for the big toes. Feet open up. You can keep that same side-to-side movement here in happy baby, or maybe try extending one leg and extending the other. Bending and straightening. Another great counter posture for camel. Child's pose, boat, happy baby. Releasing the hold of the feet, feet plant on the mat, coming to the outer edge. Inhale here. Exhale, knees fall toward the right, gaze left. Arms can be just alongside the body or can come to cactus arms. Gentle twist for the spine. Your next inhale brings knees into center. Exhale, knees to the left, gaze right. Inhale, knees back into center. Maybe you draw knees back into chest, or take the next 30 to 60 seconds to move into any final posture that would feel really good here. Maybe shoulder stand, maybe another twist. Again, a lot of yoga, particularly personal practice, is asking yourself, how do I want to move? How do I want to feel after I practice yoga? Some of that's in our control, some of it's not, but the intention is there. If you've chosen a pose that has two sides, do that now. Do the other side now, that is. Eventually extending legs long, moving into Shavasana. Take up space on your mat. Arms alongside your body, palms face up to the ceiling. you have a bun or a ponytail that's in your way, take it out now or adjust it so that you can feel the weight of the head on the mat. Allow yourself to sink into the floor. Release any breath practice you might have had during practice. Notice if any answers have arisen for you to the question, what do I need right now? Whatever that is, listen, and then take that off your mat once we leave practice. If you'd like an extra juicy Savasana, pause the video and be here with your breath for as long as you'd like. When you're ready, moving fingers and toes, bringing larger movements in, maybe stretching arms overhead, full body stretch, eventually rolling up to seated, however you'd like to get there. Maybe you sit back on your blanket, eyes closed. Bring hands to heart center. Bow and thank yourself for your practice. Namaste. Thanks everyone for joining. Check out more links to other videos in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe.